Steve Walsh, and
And now the starting lineup for your Sheboygan A. In center field, number 15, Gus Walker. At shortstop, number 48, Kyle Flynn. Third base, number 19, Harry Stelp. In right field, number 18, Grady Zackerson. Designated hitter, number 17, Jacob Neese. First baseman, number 32, Jimmy Jorgensen. Catcher, number 9, Caleb Lorbecki. Second baseman, number 33, David Wilson. Left fielder, number 11, Bennett Becker. And your starting pitcher, number 46, Eric Zuberbeer. The A's are managed by Tim Moyer, assisted by Ken Neese and Paul McLeod. To honor America and those defending our freedoms, we ask those who are able to please stand, remove your hats and headwear, place your hand over your heart for the singing of our national anthem by Brittany Samiglio.
oh, having this in front of your mouth, just speaking up a little bit higher. I wanted to mention that to you. Okay, I'm ready. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sheboygan A's Baseball. My name is Mike Martin, along with the intern, Charlie Heim. We're going to be broadcasting this afternoon and this evening's doubleheader against the Chicago Rippers.
Doubleheader tonight, doubleheader tomorrow. 4 games in 2 days out here at Wildwood Park in Sheboygan, all against the Chicago Rippers for both of these games. We are getting ready to go. Some warm-up pitches coming in from Zuberbier.
Zuberbier is normally a pitcher for Menasha, Charlie, but he's planned on pitching a little bit with us in the State League and obviously here in this set with the Rippers.
So, of course, I mean, always interesting to have. It's something you can really have with these, somewhat lower leagues where you can have people who are a bit flexible with what team they're on. So, being able to work both in Menasha as well as out here in Sheboygan, something that the A's are going to be happy to have when we have him for our team, of course.
What's going to be an interesting matchup is later on in the year when we play Menasha if he's pitching against us, which could happen. Starting lineup for Sheboygan, defensively, we have Jimmy Jurgensen over at first, Davis Wilson at second, Harry Stout is at third, and Kyle Flynn, who played that fantastic third base that opening play ball tournament weekend, or Saturday, is at short today. Bennett Becker, Gus Walker, and Brady Zach Risson are in the outfield left to right. And Lord Becky is the catcher today.
So a number of names just not able to make it in that first opening tournament, but now here, Lord Becky, one of the big ones. And, of course, Stelt only showed up for that championship game out in last week's play ball tournament. Second pitch coming in. A second ball, I believe.
Yep, 2-0 is the count to Andy Guyton, leadoff hitter and left fielder for the Rippers. They have Mike Bowling waiting on deck. Rippers are part of the Chicago Suburban Baseball League. That also includes 2 teams from the Wisconsin State League, Addison and Lombard. Fly ball out to Walker. Easy play for him. Last year they played in the World Championships in Arizona, and they won the 2022 World Championships at Tempe Diablo Stadium. Charlie, that's in Tempe, Arizona. The Los Angeles Angels have their spring training site at that park.
Of course, spring training, always something that is interesting to go to, but, out here in Wisconsin, a little bit expensive to go and visit spring training, long flight down to Arizona.
Right, yeah. My wife and I go down there for about 2 months in the spring and about 2 months in the fall. Zuberbier, a big right-hander. His hometown is Appleton, Wisconsin.
Ball on that one. The Rippers, one of course, many teams out in Chicago. Actually, the 16th team, one of 16 teams, I should say, that Sheboygan has played 4 times last year. Showing bunt and will take a strike on that one.
CJ was telling me prior to the start of the game that we played the Rippers 4 times last year and beat them 3. I would suspect it was probably a doubleheader kind of thing. Takes a tough hop on Flynn. He's not able to make the play. That'll be a base hit for Bowling. That brings up Mike Kuda, first baseman. Yeah, that one took a nasty hop.
That's always something that's very difficult about that left side of the infield, especially you get a lot of people who, they will pull it towards that side, reason that third base, the hot corner, of course. But, shortstop, one of the more difficult positions on the field out there in baseball alongside the center field position. Both just a lot of balls coming your way and a lot of tricky plays to go in.
First pitch to Kuda's in there for a strike. 5 o'clock start, the second game will start about 20 minutes after this game. And then the doubleheader tomorrow starts at 1 o'clock.
So long day for, well, long 2 days for both teams. I imagine, Chicago, you got to think that they're staying up here somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
So will be a long drive.
But I don't think they're staying at the American Club, Charlie.
Well.
Bouncing ball in the hole, and a nice stop by Flynn, but not able to make the play, so a couple of base hits for the Rippers after an out was recorded. And that brings up the cleanup hitter, Tony Sanchez.
Right there we had Flynn, that nice sliding stop out there at short. Really good to, keep the ball in, right in front of, or at least, relatively close to the infield, prevent runners from advancing, and with only one out, still very important to keep a hold of.
That's a good point about don't allow the base runners to advance an extra base.
There's that left field going into third base, a little bit of a difficult play for the runner to make, as swinging through that is Sanchez.
Pretty nice crowd filing into the ballpark so far. If you're watching us and in the area, I'd highly recommend coming down. It's a great time. The foul is straight back. 0-2 is the count on Sanchez. Only one out. Rippers are threatening here in the first.
Was that lead off pop fly out to Walker out in center, and then 2 hits right towards Flynn over at shortstop. But now Zuberbeer trying to take advantage of, this, prevent any further, productive outs with a strikeout here is what the hope is, or perhaps a double play.
Yeah, double play would be the best. Check swing foul. Beautiful day out here at the ballpark. Nice and sunny. Probably in the low 60s.
It's great weather to go outside just in general. And, sure, nice for the fielders to have good weather out there.
Good stop by Caleb Lorbecki. It's interesting how when the on-deck batter is going to give the ball to the umpire that he runs it all the way out there and hands it to him. More often than not, you'll see that on-deck batter toss it to the umpire, but not the Rippers.
And still, be a little bit safer. Make sure you don't mess up, waste a little bit more time.
Exactly.
That pace of play that baseball is really trying to take a hold of. I mean, a little bit less of a, less. I can't figure out the word for it. I'm trying to go for.
Hey,
but
that's all right. I have that happen to me all the time. Strike 3. Sanchez swinging through that pitch. And now there's 2 outs. And that brings up the right fielder, Greg Ludwig.
Right fielder, number 33, Greg Ludwig.
We don't have any personal information on their players, so we can't tell you too much about them other than what we see. He wears number 33, and he's kind of a tall guy, Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, good, strong, for pretty typical right fielder, you kind of think, that strong base, near the middle of the order. Gotta imagine probably a pretty strong arm out there in right field, but.
Yeah, you'd think if you're a right fielder, that's usually where you want your strongest arm.
Lefty-righty matchup for Ludwig. Swings right through that one.
He swings pretty hard, too.
A very tough swing on that one. You got to imagine that if that one, contact made on that one, that's a deep hit, you got to think.
When we did that play ball tournament, Charlie, we had the trivia questions, and one of the questions was based off of Eric Zuberbeer's profile sheet. Bouncing ball in the hole. That's going to get through, and hustling around second around third base is Bowling, and he scores on the base hit by Ludwig. It just barely got through. Wilson dove for it. If he could have kept it on the infield, it would have prevented a run from scoring.
Of course, Wilson not the cleanest slide on, the cleanest dive on that one, but still just one of those tough hits. So far, just Chicago's been able to just put the ball right where the defense isn't, or getting those lucky hops with that first hit. And sometimes it's kill him with bee stings.
Yeah, death by 1,000 cuts, huh?
Fouled back
just
forward.
Barely got it through, and that's all that counted. Bowling, fast runner, was able to score. 3 hits in the inning by the Rippers, too.
3 hits, none of them, or all of them ground ball hits, but all of them just reaching the outfield. So sometimes that's enough for baseball as Rodriguez swings through that one.
Benji Rodriguez, the third baseman, batting 6th in the order.
Chicago's so far solid on their game.
Yeah, when you think about that nickname Rippers, you get visions of extra base hits and home runs and that kind of thing, and they've been nickel and diming the Sheboygan A's this inning.
Inside pitch on that one will be a 1-2 count on Rodriguez.
Can you read the scoreboard, Charlie?
No, I'm just
Or
kind
did you just knew that?
I'm just kind of keeping it. I'm hoping that's the right count.
I thought it was 1 and 2, but I wasn't gonna say it because I wasn't sure.
A little bit difficult with our view to see the scoreboard right in the sun.
On the outside corner, called strike 3. Rippers score a run, however. When we come to bat, Sheboygan A's, they'll have Walker, Flynn, and Stelt.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support programs like Boys and Girls Clubs and Girls Who Code that show kids they can dream anything and do even more. Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support programs like Boys and Girls Clubs and Girls Who Code that show kids they can dream anything and do even more. Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support programs like Boys and Girls Clubs and Girls Who Code that show kids they can dream anything and do even more. Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support programs like Boys and Girls Clubs and Girls Who Code that show kids they can dream anything and do even more.
Carrier asks, what does comfort mean to you? We know it means more than just the temperature. And the people who invented modern air conditioning keep inventing new ways to make you comfortable. Carrier, turn to the experts.
For your heating and cooling needs, call Advanced Comfort Systems, Sheboygan's only Carrier factory authorized dealer.
Cold beer on a Friday. pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio.
Benny Colsano is on the mound for the Rippers. And Josh Mosley is his catcher. Leading off for Sheboygan is Gus Walker. Walker having a slow start to his season. You know how slow it is, Charlie? He's not even. Oh, there he is. He's not even. Not even on the stat sheet. He does not have a batting average yet. He's 0 for 12. Gonna get that squared away this weekend. It's a pop-up into short right. Coming on and making the catch was Ludwig.
Real quick at bat out there for Chicago. And right now Kyle Flynn, shortstop, had a couple of difficult plays to make out there in the top of the frame.
Flynn has 5 hits on the season. He's hitting .294. And we mentioned his defense in the opening games on the play ball tournament. He was so good at third, they moved him to short, Charlie. But I think that had to do more with Harry Stelt.
I mean, Harry Stelt, the batting MVP of the team last year. So got to find somewhere in the rotation, somewhere in the lineup to put him. And Flynn, with that defense, can move over to shortstop. Very difficult position out there at short.
At this level, you have to be able to play multiple positions.
Yeah. Multiple positions, multiple.
Ball has popped up on the infield. Making the call and the catch is Farrell. 2 quick outs for Sheboygan in the bottom of the first, and that's going to bring up Harry Stelt. Now, Harry's got an interesting line so far. He's 0 for 3, but he's drawn 4 walks, and one of those walks was at Kewaskum on Wednesday night with the bases loaded, and that brought home the lead and winning run. Here's one on Wednesday at Kewaskum, 3-2. Harry drawing that bases loaded walk in the 9th inning.
Of course, not all too common that you see someone with a 0 batting average and RBIs on the season,
right.
But
in that at bat, he was down on the count, no balls and 2 strikes. There's a ground ball in the hole.
Ball
short hopped to the first baseman Kuda. He was not able to pick it up. Give Harry a base hit on that. It's a tough play by Mike Martin. That name sounds familiar, Charlie.
A little bit.
Of course, we're not going to give Mike Martin an error. Brings up Brady Zach Grissom, the right fielder.
I think Bill's saying that we're giving him an error.
Wow. Bill doesn't like me anymore.
I think that any play that he misses, we just call an error, Mike Martin. Not our Mike Martin wouldn't make any errors, though, of course.
I think I had one on Saturday last Saturday.
It was a real confusing turn of events. They were thinking a little bit late with.
That was the one at first base when I put my head down before the play was resolved. That was embarrassing. But we won't mention that anymore, right, Charlie?
Nope. Don't mention what. Gone from my memory. Colsano working well in this count. 2-1 on Zackerson.
Healthy swing by Brady, but he couldn't catch up to that high fastball.
Jackson, very solid on the year so far. 308 average, 538 slugging percentage. So he's hitting the ball very well out there. I believe he had our only home run as he will strike, or only home run during the play ball tournament. He strikes
home
out
run.
there.
Yeah, he goes down swinging. That ends the first inning. After one complete inning, Chicago leads it 1-0.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you don't just feed yourself or your family. You help support programs like Simply Give that feed our neighbors in need.
Thank you.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you don't just feed yourself or your family. You help support programs like Simply Give that feed our neighbors in need.
Thank you.
I grew up working in my family's supper clubs. This is where it started with us as far as the fish that we serve at Culver's today. We source the finest cod and batter each fillet by hand and always cook it to order. That beautiful golden...
6. We're just talking about the play on the ball that Harry Stelt made, and official score ruled it an E6, so we're going to go with that. No hit for Harry. For the Rippers, they're going to have the bottom part of their order. Josh Mosley, the catcher, is going to lead it off.
Mosley looking at a strike there. Now, Mosley wearing a number 42, not something you're really used to seeing in a lot of baseball. 42 retired by the MLB because of Jackie Robinson, of course, but Chicago still having that number 42 out here for the big man behind the plate.
Yep.
Watch another strike. I believe a 1-2 count, if I can actually read the scoreboard correctly. Still a little bit difficult with sunlight in there.
The ball is driven out to right center field and deep. And making the catch is Walker. Oh, my. Got a great jump on it and caught up to it and made the grab.
Walker just flying into right center field in order to make that grab. Just excellent job ranging over and, making that catch. That easily extra bases if that lands. So.
Oh, yeah. Easily. At least a double. That brings up Joba Farrell, the second baseman. Joba made a play back in the bottom of the first on a pop-up.
That will be fouled off down the left field line. Now, Joba, not exactly the most common name out there, but surprisingly one that actually has been seen in the MLB before. Of course, Joba Chamberlain out like mid-2000s, early 2010s, I think.
Big pitcher, big guy. Good job, Charlie.
Farrell, not quite as big as Joba Chamberlain, nearly. But
probably doesn't throw as hard either. Super Bear's pitch stays up high. Here's what I wanted to show you. Look at all the different lines, different categories. He cleaned it up a little bit this year.
Still working through our current year stats on here, and it's always a little bit difficult to quick be reading through them when they're still work in progress. Still finding out how although we mentioned Brady Zackerson home run last inning, or that he had a home run so far in the year last inning.
Hopper to Stelt, he caught it on the fly, just above his shoe tops, and that's out number 2. And that brings up the shortstop, number 9 hitter, Mike Martin.
Zackerson, the only home run on the year so far, just in general for the A's.
Yeah, right. Only one homer so far this year.
Just to take a little bit to read through our in-year stats.
Martin couldn't check his swing on that first pitch. Strike one.
That one a little bit outside, but Martin had that error out in the first that our Mike Martin wanted to not just solidarity for fellow.
I was thinking
Mike
of
Martin.
I was thinking of Harry, and give our guy a base hit.
Yeah,
it was a tough play. He made the play on the grass. If he makes a good throw, he gets him, and was off the line. And it's actually fortunate that Harry wasn't able to advance the second. Bennett Becker comes in and makes the easy grab, and it's a 1-2-3 top of the second. We're going to go to the bottom of the second. Hopefully the A's can score some runs.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support organizations like Hope House Mission and New Hope Shelter that give people around here warmth, shelter, and care.
Wingism number 3, the Peter Heater.
Oh, so hot. Oh, so hot!
Legend Larry's, the definition of flavor. Wingism number 3, the Peter Heater.
Oh, so hot. Oh, so hot!
Legend Larry's, the definition of flavor.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support organizations like Hope House Mission and New Hope Shelter that give people around here warmth, shelter, and care. Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support organizations like Hope House Mission and New Hope Shelter that give people around here warmth, shelter, and care.
Wingism number 3, the Peter Heater.
Oh, so hot. Oh, so hot!
Legend Larry's, the definition of flavor.
Jacob Niesel lead off the bottom of the second for Sheboygan. They trail it 1-0. Jacob lists his hometown as Ada, Wisconsin. And interesting thing, I was mentioning this to Charlie before we came on the air, is Jacob pronounces his last name Niece. His dad, Kenny, says Nazy. Kenny Nazy. So take your pick. Kenny Nazy is the first base coach for Sheboygan. Tim Moyer, of course, the manager. The Rippers, Jake Mills is their GM/manager. Mention those important people from the Rippers. There's a line drive base hit by Jacob. Nice looking swing there.
Now in a very solid sound right off the bat, right into that gap between third and short. So really just a very picturesque hit right there.
Jimmy looking to get a little bit of a boost to his batting average. He's 2 for 12 so far. He's hit the ball hard a couple of times, but doesn't have much to show for it. Sure he'll get going.
Jimmy, one of the taller, I believe, tied for the tallest player on the team. Noah Emery and Blake Roach a little bit taller, but 6'4", 6'4", 225. Big guy out there at first base.
Yeah, I was looking at this preseason roster. The only guy was Blake Roach, was 6'5", was the only taller guy. Am I right in it? There's a fly ball to deep right field, but high. Racing back is a center fielder, and he's able to make the catch. Bowling got over there pretty quickly and made the grab. Hard hit ball, though. Oh, and Noah Emery's the other one. 6'5".
A lot of very hard hits so far today from both sides. And, well, some good defensive plays by the center fielders for both teams.
Caleb Lorbecki is next.
Becky, I believe he was completely absent from our play ball tournament.
He was. He didn't play that weekend. What we wanted to do was pull up what he did last year.
Catcher settles.
Lorbecki appeared in 26 games. Had a .217 batting average. Did have 5 sacrifice flies, amazingly. Had a double and a home run.
Nice, I believe, took off a little bit, but ended up staying there at first. No throw.
You talked about it last Saturday during the play ball tournament, how important the catching position is, and a lot of times your team can survive just fine without a catcher that hits real good, but is really good on defense. And Rebecca's pretty good at that part.
That's just always, I love the catcher position because, it is so important. It doesn't usually seem that important. You don't really think about the catcher too much as Lorbecki draws a walk. But the catcher, they have a lot more equipment, so you don't really see their faces much. You don't really, a lot of times they won't show up on the scorecard because, well, a lot of times they aren't great hitters. A lot of times they don't get too much fielding because it's really just short choppers, bunts, maybe a couple real high pop flies, just straight up. But
Davis Wilson is next. Davis 1 for 3 on the season.
Wilson did make an appearance in our last week play ball tournament, and I believe he was also cited as a couple of the players' favorite baseball player.
Right, yeah, you mentioned that, didn't you? Swing and a miss at that fastball. Good heater that time by Colasano. Davis Wilson threw 41 innings last year, and I think on his bio he mentioned that he blew his arm out. He won't be doing any more pitching. And with that throw from second base being shorter, that's probably a pretty good position for him. Unfortunately, he takes a called strike 3. That brings up the number 9 hitter, Bennett Becker.
Becker, another very solid fielder for this A's team. A's have a lot of good fielders out there. Becker, .257 batting average last year. He will take a called strike on that one.
Nice is on second, and Lorbecki is on at first. Like Charlie mentioned, there are 2 outs. Nice getting a nice lead at second.
Possibly a little bit of a low strike, but could have just clipped the corner there. Becker now 0-2 count, I believe. drew 12 walks last year, so still managed to get on base even with not the highest batting average on the team, but still being able to draw those in. Of course, we did see a walk earlier on in this inning from Lerbecki, but Becker helping to continue the inning.
That ball is hit on the infield. Martin able to flag it down and makes the catch. And after 2 complete, Chicago still leads it 1-0.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you shop for more than yourself. You help support sustainability in all our communities.
Thank you.
Today, tomorrow, and for years to come.
We're back here at Wildwood Park, getting ready to start the top of the 3rd inning. Chicago will be sending up their 1, 2, and 3 hitters. Guyton, the leadoff hitter, flew out to center field to lead off the ball game, and after that, the Rippers were able to get 3 of their next 4 hitters on and get home a run.
Of course, that one out that was produced by Guyton, not a pretty soft hit out there to Walker, but still managing to score that run in the first inning. With baseball, even just that one run could mean a lot in the end for the team. If they if Colsano can keep pitching well, might still shut down the A's. Of course, the A's hoping to prevent that from happening.
You mentioned the out that Guyton made was a pretty easy catch for Walker in short center field. It was the one that Mosley hit to lead off the second that Walker had to make a long run and catch it, and that ball is hit the deep right and out of here. Right over the D4 sign. CJ likes that, but not the home run.
Guyton, I think, probably knew right. It seemed like he knew right off the bat that was gone. Took a little bit of time leaving the box, but still another run out there for Chicago. Brings it to a 2-0 lead.
If you look on your monitors, people, and you see the bar that's blocking the scoreboard, just to the right of that is the do for sign, and that's where Guyton hit his home run. Brings up Mike Bowling, the center fielder. He singled and scored.
Showing bunt on that first pitch, but maybe just a way to somewhat get in the heads of Sheboygan. That one will be popped, I believe. Well, popped foul at the very least.
One thing that Sheboygan has struggled with so far on this young season is their batting averages. As a team, they're only hitting .206. Last year, that team finished the season hitting .313. So the hitting needs to get better to keep this winning streak going. They are 4-0. Wilson just got the throw over to first base in time to get the speedy bowling. And that brings up Mike Kuda.
Bowling just hustling down the line, and that normally would seem like a pretty easy play, but just with that speed, he had to, Wilson had to do a pretty hard throw in order to still get him out.
Right.
Kuda back in the first had a grounder that was stopped on a slide by Flynn, but still managed to result in a single. Now we do have Zuberbeer looking to shut things down, still hoping to rebound a little bit from the leadoff home run.
Yeah, that wasn't a good one. Good for Guyton, not for us. Eric attended Fox Valley Lutheran High School.
Of a number of players out from Marion, as Kuda will draw a walk on that one. One away in the inning as Sanchez comes up, struck out swinging in the first inning.
One thing I noticed about Tony Sanchez in his first at bat, he does swing pretty hard, and he looks like a strong kid.
This is one of those times where I kind of wish that we had a little bit more, personal information. See, exactly how, see how tall, how.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I agree. But
And
you'll
doesn't-
find as we go through the season, Charlie, it's going to be pretty much all the same.
And a great play by Wilson, but by Walker, sorry, in order to nearly get a double play on that one.
I don't know what Kuda was thinking of over there at first.
One of the classic deke out there from Walker, pretending they lost it in the sun. Kuda thinking, okay, maybe I can advance on that, but
not when it's caught.
Caught, and if throw just a little bit, just a little bit late. I think a little bit too far down towards home plate.
That was a little bit off the mark. Ludwig had the RBI single for the Rippers back in the first. He's 1 for 1. Mentioned he's a big kid.
So far, when Chicago's put the bat on the ball, it's been very strongly hit, but has a strike on the outside corner there. But these strong hit, just now reaching the outfield in this inning, first inning.
4 hits in the game for Chicago. Only 1 for the A's. It was Jacob Neese's base hit to left. It's a fly ball out to Walker. And that ends the third, but not before the Rippers come up with another run. They now lead at 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the third.
Let me tell you a story about a beer rooted in the heart of America, found in a community where a handshake is a sure contract, brewed for those who found opportunity in challenge and hope in tomorrow, raised by generations, willing to sip, share, risk, remember. This is a story bigger than beer. This is the story of the American spirit.
All right, guys, we got teriyaki, honey barbecue, and mild. Enjoy. All right, DOA wings, hottest on the menu.
You got a problem?
Getting ready to lead off the inning for Sheboygan is Gus Walker. Walker flew out to right, his first at bat.
And Walker so far been very active out there on the field, responsible for 4 of the 9 outs that have gone for Chicago.
Chicago's on top 2-0. A's are going to have to come back to win this one.
Hoping to work through a little bit of that little bit of a difficult, as he will bunt that one foul. Trying to work through a little bit of a slump to start off the year.
Yeah. A lot of baseball left to be played.
Season goes until the beginning of August.
Yeah, and I'm sure Gus will work his way out of it.
Gus led the team in batting average, .394 batting average, which is just ridiculously high for, managing to get a hit on nearly 40% of every single at-bat that you have. Well, not exactly. Baseball is weird sometimes with, at-bats, plate appearances, but...
Gus did a good job on the pitch before that, a holding back, and then, of course, he took that pitch low. It's now 3-1. Gus sitting in pretty good shape. Hopefully he can get on base, get a rally started.
Just have that speed of a center fielder out there as he'll sky that one foul.
And out of play back in the bullpen area behind the A's dugout. Rippers from the Chicago Suburban Baseball League.
Or Sheboygan, Chicago, very different locales, not exactly. I don't think Sheboygan's quite as big as Chicago. Might, a couple hundred.
There's a line drive out to center field, but Bowling had a beat on it and makes a nice catch. Well, Gus hit that ball hard, but I guess not hard enough. That brings up Kyle Flynn.
And that's just something that's a little bit difficult sometimes for pitchers to deal with. Both teams have been hitting the ball very hard, but it's a lot of it's just right to fielders, so.
Little tapper in front of the plate, rolling out to the third baseman. He bare hands it, but will not make the throw. And Flynn has himself an infield hit. And that's going to bring up Harry Stelt.
And of course, just as I'm talking about how well hit the balls have been today, you get just one of those real short choppers right where the defense can't very easily get to. So,
yeah.
That's how it goes sometimes.
My contention, Charlie, is that line drives are way overrated because so many of those get caught. Little bloopers and little dribblers.
Of course,
a long way to get you on base. Harry taking that first pitch outside.
A lot of it just depends on the positioning of it. Get a liner into the corner as opposed to some of those pop flies we've seen so far today. Then, maybe some of those land for doubles. Maybe depending on speed, could be a triple. But as you said, still a lot of those short chops. Some of those bloop fly balls right where the defense can't get them. I think that's probably a little bit more important than just being able to, how fast the ball is going, how...
Harry's sitting on a hitter's pitch here, 2-0. Takes it for a strike.
Harry led the team in OPS last year. OPS, one of the, more one of the bigger stats for trying to find out how useful someone is. Someone could have a very impressive batting average, but only hit singles. OPS.
Flynn on the run. Throw down. Good cover up by Martin to keep the ball from going any further in the outfield. Flynn with a stolen base. I didn't catch if that was a ball or a strike. It was a strike, so the count is even now at 2-2. Harry is a very good hitter, no matter what the count. He's one of the few guys, when it gets to 2 strikes, he's still really, really good.
Of course, teams that have been scouting out the ice, they know how good Stelt is, so still want to pitch around him, but he can still work through that, still do very well. A little bit slow start to this year, but always can find a point to really start it up as he'll foul that one off.
We have 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Sheboygan trails 2-0. Gus Walker led off, hit a long fly ball to center that was caught, and then Flynn hit a very short grounder that wound up being an infield hit. Very trying to drive him in.
Right now, I think maybe go for that, that trifecta where we, get that medium range bloop hit, score Flynn from second.
Any way to get him in? I'll tell you, there's a wide open hole between the second baseman and the first baseman. The second baseman way over, trying to keep Flynn close to the bag.
Only Flynn may be playing a little bit of a shift as well.
Harry takes that pitch just outside and draws the walk. Puts runners on first and second for Brady Zachrisson. Brady was a strikeout victim his first time up.
And
Brady also the Northwoods cleanup hitter tonight in his first game.
At this point, still continuing his strange start to the year in terms of a box score. No hits, bunch of plate appearances, and a lot of walks.
Brady showing the good eye there, taking that pitch high. Yeah, Harry, no hits, but his on-base percentage is pretty super.
That would be his ninth plate appearance, 5 walks.
Yes.
So, getting on base by any means necessary. Passed ball on that one, I would think.
Yeah, Mosley, I don't know what happened there. Went right through the webbing of his glove.
Now Zachrisson managing to avoid the potential of a double play with that pass ball.
That's where when you give up a base like that, Charlie, that's where it really hurts, because you went from a double play situation to now you don't have it. And that one base makes a huge difference. And there were 2 guys on, so it's like giving up 2 bases.
Of course, now that now that there is that free out, you can potentially have ground ball still score an RBI. So
that's the point, Charlie. That's exactly the point. Now what we got to have Brady do, though, is hit the ball. Swing and a miss. 2-2 is the count. Good fastball that time by Colson. Flynn taking a short lead off a third. Harry not too much further off a second. There's a fly ball out to right. Ludwig makes the catch. He's in good position, makes a strong throw home, but it's not going to be in time. Sheboygan has a run on the sacrifice fly by Brady Zachrisson. Harry stays at second.
Of course, always
that brings
having
up Jacob Neese.
Always having those productive outs is still a good thing. Of course, you would prefer not to have any outs at all, but
hitting the ball makes a big difference. Now Harry, not a lot of speed out at second. Jacob swinging at that first pitch. Couldn't catch up to it.
Really believe that his second RBI so far on the year. If I'm reading our yearly box scores statistics correctly.
Take a 2-out clutch base hit, and Jacob now with 2 strikes on him.
Last inning had that very solid hit right between the third and second base.
Ludwig and Wright looks to have a pretty good arm. I'm not sure about Bowling or Guyton on a hit to the outfield if Harry can make it. We'll have to see.
As said, Harry, not exactly the quickest out there, so we really have to find out how good the arms are of all the outfield to see if you can maybe advance on one of those. And of course, maybe if we had say Walker's on second, you might get a little bit more leeway to run out there for that.
Yeah, that's a good point,
single to
Charlie.
the outfield.
It's a good point. Pitch is outside.
Colsano.
Waiting on deck is Jimmy Jurgensen. Boy, Jimmy would like to get up there with runners on base. Left fielder is very deep, just short of the warning track. Bouncing ball in front of the plate. Colson picks it up, throws. Not in time. Nisa's safe on the play. Harry advances to third. So now with 2 outs, Sheboygan has runners on first and third with Jimmy Jurgensen up.
Again, this is one of those innings that they're not getting the greatest of the hardest contact out there, but it's still enough to get those hits. 2 of the hits so far in this inning, actually both hits so far of the inning, Stout reaching on a walk, being from just little choppers right in that that sort of Bermuda triangle between catcher, third base, and the mound.
Yeah, usually you think about that being somewhere in the outfield, but it's been that way on the infield for the A's this inning. Be interesting to see if they keep Jacob over at first or if Tim tries to have him steal second. Good stop by Mosley on that pitch in the dirt. The one thing with Jacob at first base, it keeps the first baseman near the line, opens up a little bit of a hole on the right side. Jimmy swinging late on that pitch, fouled it back.
Now, one thing that you got to think is a little bit tricky for some of the A's batters to deal with is that Colsano has a little bit of a hitch in his pitching stretch. Kind of stops a little bit right before throwing it, so he can kind of throw the A's off a little bit. But so far, they've been able to at least mostly get a hang of it this inning.
Jimmy sends one to deep left field, racing back as the left fielder. He jumps at the wall and makes the grab. Oh, my. Great catch out there by Andy Guyton, saving his team. But after 3 complete, Sheboygan now with the run, but they still trail it 2-1.
The estimated hold time is now less than 96 minutes. We thank you for your patience.
Sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
The estimated hold time.
Benji Rodriguez, the Rippers' third baseman, is going to lead off the fourth inning. Sheboygan got a hard-earned run in the bottom of the third on a sacrifice fly from Brady Zachrisson, and they were just that far away, Charlie, from getting another run, maybe three more, but Jimmy's long fly ball to left came up just a little bit short.
Of course, if you're, if you're Jimmy at that point, you got to be a little bit frustrated because that was an incredibly hit ball, but just, a little bit lofted up, just a little bit too much. Guyton able to make a very solid jumping catch out there at the wall.
Eric Zuberbeer's first pitch, a breaking ball, stayed up high. That one is down a little bit and popped out to center field. Gus Walker trots in, and that's the third catch in a row he's made for outs. He got the last two outs on catches in the third inning, and now he opens up the fourth with another catch out in center field. He's got 5 on the game.
Gus just very active so far today. Getting his work out at the very least.
Yeah, for sure. This brings up Josh Mosley.
Ball skipped right in front of the plate, but no runners, so not a big concern for Lerbecki.
Mosley flew out to center field. This seems appropriate. Everybody's been flying out to center. His first time up.
Down, I believe, if I remember correctly, that one a very tough hit out to right center, but Gus just really, really solid jump on it. Really just able to, range down and catch that as ball outside.
Zuberbeer goes 3-0 this at bat. Eric has 1 walk already and 2 strikeouts. Poured that one right down Main Street.
Mosley looked like he wanted to swing, but ends up holding back on that one.
Breaking ball touches the outside corner. That makes the count 3-2.
It's a very well-located pitch. Mosley thought he was getting a free walk to first base, but instead now brings up to a full count.
Steve Walsh said, not so fast. Ooh. You're now a veteran, Charlie.
It's very loud up here.
We'll get a couple of those a season. We forgot to mention it, didn't we?
So
that was not on the form that you filled out.
It's metal roofing up there. It's
breaking ball on the outside corner, called strike 3. And I think Mosley was telling him, if you're going to give them that pitch, I better get it the next half inning.
Just a very strong at-bat for Zuberbeer to work back from that 3-0 count. Ends up throwing basically 4 straight strikes.
Joba Farrell, the second baseman, is up.
Farrell been mostly quiet in terms of fielding. Had a pop-up to him back in the first, but otherwise...
It's a long fly ball to left. He thinks it's gone. He's just standing there and watching it, and it is gone. Long home run to left. Farrell knew it right off the bat. The trouble with that, Charlie, is they get the run we got right back. still a 2-run deficit.
Chicago doing very well at taking advantage. Again, it's been a very, very live ball so far today for both teams, but Chicago just able to catch under it a little bit more. So it's been home runs over DeFore, and I believe that one was over the Legend Larry sign out in left.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me, too.
And Zieberbeer staying in, and
usually on those
well.
fly balls like that, Charlie, what I'll do is watch the outfielder because he'll take you to the ball as an announcer. But that time I happened to catch Farrell standing in the box watching it, and then I knew it's out of here. He knew it right away.
And obviously, staring at the home run as it goes, that's something that see quite a bit, but it's always amusing when someone thinks that they have a home run and just flies out to the warning track.
It was a couple of years ago, one of the A's batters, he hit it. I mean, the trouble is he hit it to center field, and he stood in the box and watched, and then when he realized it wasn't out, then he thought I'll pull into second with a double and got thrown out at second base.
So
the general manager, and the teammates were not very impressed.
I mean, when it does end up being a home run, it's very.
My personal opinion is I don't think it's very classy. Run around the bases. You hit a home run, great. You don't have to show up the other team.
Martin will take a easy walk on that one.
Yeah, there weren't too many strikes in his at bat, were there? Not Tim Moyer coming out. We don't track pitches up here in the booth, so we're not sure how many Eric has thrown.
I believe we have someone in the bullpen. I'm at like the perfect angle where I can't quite see if anyone's in the bullpen.
We can never see if someone is warming up in the A's bullpen. I did see a ball fly up, but it was pretty high. I don't know if it's serious catch. Serious warm-up pitching, but they're leaving Zuberbauer out there anyway, so hopefully he can get the last out, and we'll get some runs in the bottom of the fourth.
He has been mostly very solid so far in this game, but just those 2 home runs, a little bit worrying for Moyer.
Yeah, exactly. Pitch is called a ball. Must have been inside.
And you can pull back on the bunt show.
Steve Walsh working the bases. Pardon me, working the plate this game.
That pitch may be a little bit high. So it's always something that it's definitely wouldn't be able to get it because that's real advanced technology. But have those on-screen strike zones.
That pitch clearly out of the strike zone. 3-0 now.
Guyton homered back in his last at-bat and then had that great catch last inning. Zieberbeer trying to keep calm. It's 2 outs so far in the inning. Started off the inning very well, but shaky since as a strike easily called there.
Makes the count 3-1. Martin on at first base. Not taking much of a lead. Zuberbeer has that pitch right out of the strike zone. Back-to-back walks. We got the first 2 batters in pretty quick fashion. Then we had the home run by Farrell and now a couple of walks, and that's going to be it for Eric Zuberbeer. Moyer coming right back out. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll give you who the relief pitcher is and give you the numbers for Eric Zieberbauer.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support programs like Boys and Girls Clubs and Girls Who Code that show kids they can dream anything and do even more.
Take you home. Cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio. Take you home. Cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio.
Michael Martinez is coming in to pitch for Sheboygan. Michael pitched in the play ball tournament, went an inning, had no walks or strikeouts, gave up no runs. For Eric Zuberbier, he went 3 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, had 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, allowed 2 home runs. He allowed 3 earned runs, and he's responsible for both runners on base.
Of course, even in spite of those numbers, still had some very strong innings. That second inning, a quick 1-2-3, and this inning even started off with a quick 2 outs. But sometimes it can just somewhat get out of control, and right now, Moyer hoping that Martinez can handle things.
We had mentioned when Michael came in to pitch last Saturday that he's from Hurricane, Utah, and that he attends Marion University. He is also a Yankee fan, and his favorite players are Derek Jeter and Ken Griffey Jr. Michael made a name for himself during that last Saturday tournament when he was the quick answer player. You know, and he fired off a bunch of questions to him, and he was able to answer them pretty quick. Now, we heard he was getting fed the answers, but we don't know that. We're up here, so we're just going to say he did a good job at that.
Yeah, I like believing that a little bit more.
Yeah, right. Who are we to criticize?
Exactly.
Of course, that's our end of the table.
Yeah.
We don't know about the other end of the table.
Exactly.
Another walk. Scott Stengel up in the booth with us. Make sure you put all of those back in the box, Scott, or back in the picking tray. Right. Well, did you buy any tickets? Just put yours in. Mike Kuda, the first baseman, is up. He was on twice. He singled in the first and walked in the third.
The inside pitch there. Now, for Martinez, a little bit weird that he has, he's a pitcher right now, but 2 favorite players are both batters, so.
Right, yeah. Good point.
Think pitcher likes pitchers.
There's a line drive out to left. That ball's going to go all the way to the wall. 2 runs will score for sure. And they're going to stop the runner off of first, bowling, and hold him at third. And coming up with a 2 RBI double was Mike Kuda. And that really hurts. Tony Sanchez up 5-1. Chicago leads it.
Of course, pretty much all of this damage done with 2 outs as chopped to third.
Harry makes a nice play and a throw across. Finally, we get the 3rd out of the inning, but not before the Rippers come up with 3 more runs. And they lead it 5-1.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you don't just feed yourself or your family. You help support programs like Simply Give that feed our neighbors in need.
Thank you.
I grew up working in my family's supper clubs. This is where it started with us as far as the fish that we serve at Culver's today. We source the finest cod and batter each fillet by hand and always cook it to order. That beautiful golden brown color and flaky on the inside. The fish fry is a Midwest tradition. It's about families coming together. I love bringing this tradition to guests everywhere. Mom and Dad would be proud. Welcome to Delicious.
Eric Zuberbeer's line is complete. He went 3 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned. Walked 3, struck out 3. Not a good outing for Eric. I'm sure he'll do better. Hopefully it's with us and not Menasha.
Yeah, obviously, this is one of the performances that, we like to see if he's on Menasha. If he's for us, then, hoping, just, little drop in the, little blip on the radar. Not much is the hope for that, but in the end,
Well, I'm sure making his first Sheboygan A's appearance, Eric was hoping for a stronger performance. He is a good pitcher. There's no doubt about that. He just had a bad outing.
In a good chunk of the game, he was doing fairly well. Again, that very quick 1-2-3 inning back in the second. And starting off his fourth inning with those 2 outs right away, but
And the other thing that's a little unexpected is that you got the number 8 hitter hitting a home run. But, hey, if somebody's in the batter's box with a bat, they're dangerous. Bottom part of the order for Sheboygan in the 4th, they have Lorbecki, Wilson, and Becker scheduled to hit. Bill Reinl in the house with his wife.
Lorbecki doing a very good job behind the plate today.
He walked his first time up.
Hoping to continue a solid performance in the batter's box today.
Yeah, 4 runs down, not impossible. We've seen A's come back from a lot more runs behind than 4, but it's getting late. Only a 7-inning game.
So with the doubleheader, shorten the games up a little bit. Still ends up being, more baseball than your normal days, but
that was one of the things that made last season so interesting and enjoyable. Is there were some times when Sheboygan was down, and they always seemed to, they didn't always win them, but they always seemed to rally and at least make it close and have a chance. And hopefully this year's squad can do the same thing. They did it on Wednesday against Kewaskum, winning the first Northeastern Wisconsin Baseball League game. Davis Wilson is up next. Davis was a victim of a called strike 3.
that one going to be skied out of the ballpark, I believe. Got Lakeshore Auto Glass getting a little bit of a sponsor read for that foul out of the park.
There's a line drive, base hit to right. I was going to say about Davis, I think I have a new most favorite walk-up song. Your Love by The Outfield. And when he comes to bat next time, Charlie, listen to it. It's kind of a catchy little tune.
I can't say I'm too familiar with it.
You'll remember it when you hear it. Bennett Becker is up next. Bennett attends Carroll College. Getting a lot of playing time. Popped up to short. His first time. First pitch is called a strike.
High in the zone. Colasano doing very solidly today.
We wouldn't expect Wilson to be trying to steal in this situation.
Big swing at that one from Becker, ends up missing.
Yeah, it was a good breaking ball. 0-2 is the count. Gus Walker waiting on deck.
Now in it chip.
Scott, who are we gonna? We haven't gotten any attendance from anybody. We miss you. We usually announce the attendance for the various games. We never totally forgot about it on Saturday.
We'll just say that it's for game 2. We'll have the
There's
full
a line
attendance.
drive to left. Guyton can't get it. It's off the wall, and an off the wall single, no less. But Becker really hit it hard. Guyton knew off the bat he wasn't going to catch it.
Wilson, I think, might not have known exactly, so ends up holding Becker to a possibly one of the most well-hit singles you'll see all day.
That's for sure. Gus Walker, boy, we could use Gus to break out of his slump with this at bat. Again, Sheboygan threatening. See if they can finish the deal. Gus had a good pitch to hit and fouled it back. Ball comes off the screen, lands right at the feet of the home plate umpire, Steve Walsh.
Walker, his first time not leading off an inning, so maybe it's just a little bit of difficulty with leading off today.
Yeah. Hey, I got to tell you about last year with Gus. So Gus last year, first year with the A's, I'd say for about the first 10 to 15 games, he batted ninth.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden we come to a game and he's batting leadoff, and we're like, oh no, the guy's hitting almost 400 batting ninth. You don't want to move him up to leadoff. He continued to hit. Nothing changed. He's been batting leadoff ever since.
I mean, right now, just a little bit of difficulty with starting off the year, but again, baseball, a lot of times you can have these slow starts and end up, having a great second half of your season, or at least hopefully for us, a great.
We mentioned that last week about Jimmy Jurgensen. He struggled for a good part of the season, but finished very strong.
Of course, we're hoping it's just, a difficult first 20th of the season, and then the rest.
Pitch is inside. It's 3-1 to Walker.
A very friendly
Kyle Flynn waiting on deck.
Friendly count out here for Walker. Hoping to, again, as we've been saying, hopefully, really break the door down for this A's offense today.
Pitch is inside, ball 4. Gus drawing a walk. Bases are loaded for Sheboygan with Kyle Flynn up. Flynn, we mentioned he attends Concordia University, Wisconsin. He's majoring in finance. He's a smart guy. Flynn singled and scored back in the third.
And with that single, that's something that really Sheboygan has just been, again, a lot of just, 1,000 cuts. It's been singles, it's been walks, it's been stolen bases, pass balls.
First pitch is in for a strike. We got Wilson on at third, Becker's at second, and Walker is at third. Pretty good speed on each base by Sheboygan. Now we need Flynn to catch a hold of one.
Hit to the outfield should hopefully score 2, but
swung at a pitch out of the strike zone.
down well outside. Flynn maybe just getting a little bit excited, trying to work through the slow start to the offense today so far. Still had that one run, but
there is an out, by the way. One out. Leadoff hitter made out. Next three batters have reached. Balls fall straight back. He was right on that pitch, but couldn't square it up.
A little bit under. You can't quite see it from any of our angles, I think, but we got our preparations for the inflatable race, which I believe is middle of next inning. It's coming up in one of the between innings.
Collison comes set. Flynn again swinging at one in the dirt. And that's strike three. That leaves it up to Harry. Harry reached on an error and walked. See if Harry can come through in the clutch. He's done it a lot of times throughout his Sheboygan A's career.
And if there's anyone that you want to have up in this position, if you're Sheboygan, it is Harry Stout. 43 RBIs last year. And while he only has the one this year on a walk, hoping to get his first hit and hoping for it to be a big one.
Harry showing a good eye, taking that first pitch outside. Chicago leads it 5-1 on the strength of a big 3-run fourth inning. Sheboygan trying to respond.
Now, of course, best case scenario, we get a home run. Harry, 6 home runs last year.
Yeah, wouldn't that be super?
Would tie the game up here in the bottom of the fourth. So even just any runs at this point would be fantastic for Sheboygan.
You know, a player of Harry's caliber, he's known by all the teams that we play, so they know all about him. Collison trying to be careful. Got that pitch in for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Bases are loaded. Martin, the shortstop, is back about 4 or 5 feet on the grass at his shortstop position.
Very deep infield for Chicago.
Ball in the dirt, gets away from Mosley. A run will score, and the other runners will move up to second and third. Wild pitch. It bounced in the dirt. Single here, could score 2. Gus Walker with very good speed at second base, and he'll be running on the crack of the bat. But I like your idea, Charlie. Just hit one over the fence and tie it up.
It's a little bit less dramatic now. That's not a grand slam, but still ends up getting the same result for runs.
Three-one pitch coming up. And it's called a strike.
Harry a little bit unhappy with that.
The runners will not be off on the pitch since first base is open.
At this point, Chicago might be looking to give up that base to Harry rather than risk very strong bat.
Pitch is in the dirt. Harry draws another walk, and that loads the bases again for Brady Zachrisson, the Northwoods cleanup hitter. Brady drove home Sheboygan's first run of the ball game with a sacrifice fly in the third.
Harry continuing his 600 on-base percentage. No hits. Believe it or not, 2 RBIs. I never was certain on how wild pitches are called in terms of RBIs.
That's not an RBI.
Okay.
It is important, though, because if the pitch is declared a pass ball and a run scores, it's not an earned run. So that helps the pitcher. But if it's a wild pitch, then it is an earned run, and it hurts the pitcher's ERA. Brady takes that first pitch outside. Nobody warming up in the Ripper bullpen.
Of course, one swing of the bat could change the game tremendously. Zachrisson, the only home run on the year. Maybe trying to make it 2.
Pitch just touches the outside corner for a strike. Evens the count at 1-1. Becker's on at third. Walker's on at second, and Harry is over at first. Harry's hoping for a home run so he can trot around the bases. Line drive out to right. That could fall. It's drifting away from Ludwig. It gets down for a base hit. 2 runs will score, and Harry hustling all the way to third. Nice piece of hitting by Brady Zakrizin, singling in 2 runs. That makes it 5-4 Chicago. Jacob's got a nice game so far, Charlie, with a couple of singles. See if he can get one more.
And still somehow, even with some very strong hits, some very deep hits, only singles on.
A little over anxious on that first pitch. Charlie saw that one that was out of the strike zone. He'd like to have that pitch back.
And I'd like to be around his chest area for that one. A little bit difficult to square up on one that high.
Brady on the move. That pitch is fouled straight back.
This time I was expecting the roof shot.
Oh, the roof shot. That first one, yeah. I mean, I think even TJ and Bill would admit that's one of the louder ones we've had the last couple of years. That was a bad one. Yeah, right. The roof shots on the metal roof are loud, but the one today was particularly bad. I can't wait to get home and watch a replay to see if we could hear it, if they could hear it. The fans watching on the internet. Yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit of a jump.
Pitch is outside.
I was expecting it to be a little loud, just not quite that loud.
It's 5-4. The tying run is on third base, in the person of Harry Stelt. There's a drive out into right field. Ludwig has a beat on it, however, and makes the one-handed grab to end the 4th inning, but not before. Sheboygan comes up with 3 runs, and after 4 complete innings of play, Chicago leads it 5-4.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support organizations like Hope House Mission and New Hope Shelter that give people around here warmth, shelter, and care.
Me spells the great taste of Sheboygan.
What does it take to stay in business for 75 years? It's not only featuring USDA choice beef. It's not caring about every single one of our 30 varieties of bratwurst. Nope. After being family-owned for 3 generations, we've learned it's about you. At Miesfeld's Market, we give back to the community, and our customers always come first. Since 1941, we've been feeding our neighbors, so come by and see what we've got today.
Wingism number 3, the Peter Heater.
Oh, so hot. Oh, so hot!
Legend Larry's, the definition of flavor. Wingism number 4, tea time.
What are you, having tea with the Queen?
Hello.
Nice.
Legend Larry's, the definition of flavor.
Greg Ludwig is going to lead off the 5th inning. He had a workout in right field that last half inning with Zach Grisson driving in 2 runs with his single out there, and then Ludwig coming over and making a nice grab on Nice's fly ball to end the inning. He hits a hopper over to Wilson. He flags it down and throws the first for the out. Nice play by Davis Wilson. I think it's real important for Sheboygan to shut the Rippers down this 5th inning, since they were able to come back from that big 3rd inning by Chicago to score 3 of their own and now only trail by a run.
Just a very intensive 4th inning, 3 runs from both teams. Actually, no, 4. Is it 3? 3 for each, sorry.
3 and 3.
Myself there.
Benji Rodriguez is up. Benji is 0 for 2. First game of a doubleheader today. Then we'll pair up tomorrow against these same Chicago Rippers in a doubleheader that starts at 1 o'clock. And of course, we all hope that you're having a nice Memorial Day weekend. Martinez still on the hill for Sheboygan.
Martinez in his first inning of work. 2
swing and a miss.
Had 2 walks given up, but still managed to get out of the inning without giving up a run.
Pitch comes in high. I think it's 3-2. Ball's hit up in the air to center field. Where else? Walker makes the grab. His 6th catch of the ball game out there.
You know, I didn't do this for our play ball tournament, but I might keep our scorecards just to see how many times Gus Walker is involved in and out throughout this weekend series.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. He's got a good start. Mosley 0 for 2 is up again. Mosley batting 7th in the order.
One of the many people to fly out to Gus Walker so far in this game.
Just off the outside corner. Sheboygan trails it 5-4. Three and 0 is the count. Martinez got the first 2. See if he can come back and get Mosley. Ooh, swinging 3-0.
That was a big swing too. Trying to get a little bit more insurance was Mosley, but
pitch on the outside corner makes the count 3-2.
Mosley, I think, a little bit frustrated so far. This game's had a couple calls that he's disagreed with, but Bear has to deal with that.
Yeah, ball's fouled off the shin guard of Lord Becky. Good job by Mosley to hang in there on that 3-2 pitch.
Martinez doing a very good job as well of bringing this at bat back.
Pitch got him, and Mosley goes down after that mighty cut. But that ends the 5th inning for Chicago as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Sheboygan will be sending up Jurgensen, Lorbecki, and Wilson.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you shop for more than yourself. You help support sustainability in all our communities.
Thank you.
Today, tomorrow, and for years to come. Whenever you shop Meijer, you shop for more than yourself. You help support sustainability in all our communities.
Thank you.
Today, tomorrow, and for years to come. Whenever you shop Meijer, you shop for more than yourself. You help support sustainability in all our communities.
Thank you.
Today, tomorrow, and for years to come.
Jimmy Jurgensen is going to lead off the bottom of the fifth for Sheboygan. Jimmy is 0 for 2. Hit a long fly ball out to left field. And Andy Guyton, the left fielder for Chicago, made a leaping grab at the wall to rob Jimmy of extra bases. And an RBI or two.
A number of very good hits so far on the day for Sheboygan. Jurgensen is being one of them. But still, even with 3 hits about at the wall, only singles and walks on the day.
Hopefully Jimmy can change all of that.
Think it would be great to tie the game.
A slow roller down the third base line, and Jimmy's going to make it. I tell you, when you look at the box score, it's going to look like a line drive, Charlie. Another, single.
That one just full check swing on that one. Barely makes contact. But it gets a base runner, and that's all that matters at this point.
Exactly. Puts a tying run on base for Caleb Lorbecki. Caleb walked and is popped out in his 2 previous appearances. Takes that first pitch for a strike. Jimmy not a real big base stealing threat. Check what he did last year in stolen bases. Oh, he did have one. And he was caught once. Usually in a situation like that, Charlie, there'll be like runners on first and third. He'll be the guy on first and then steal second. And they are hesitant to throw down to second in case the guy from third runs home and scores. I'm not sure that's how it happened, but I'm just saying Jimmy is not a big base stealer type guy. But he did have one last year.
You just think of his evolution of his game.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to start taking bases now.
Not taking a big lead at first. I think him and Kuda are getting to know each other pretty well. They're standing so close conversing, I'm sure. Olivia up in the booth with us. She should be down on the field helping Annalise, but she's getting instructions from CJ. So she'll be down there any minute.
Yeah, a lot. I don't think she's technically an intern, but...
Or Becky swings and misses at that fastball. And there's one out in the bottom of the fifth. Here's the song.
There we go. Oh, no, I do know.
You know that one,
yeah.
right?
I just didn't know that was the name
Your
of it.
Love by the outfield.
I've heard that song a lot.
Sure. Line drive, base hit down the right field line. Jurgensen flying like the wind around second, and he's going to make it into third standing. Davis Wilson with another base hit. And that brings up Bennett Becker. Becker singled his last time up and scored.
Of course, according to the box score, the single that Becker had last inning looks the exact same as the single that Jurgensen had this inning. They really couldn't be much more different.
Right, exactly. Sheboygan threatening again. Bennett had a good rip at that first pitch and fouled it straight back.
I think that clipped Mosley's helmet a little bit on the way back.
Bennett has a double this year. I remember that in that play ball tournament. He hit it over the left fielder's head. Breaking pitch rides up high. Mosley's got to really do his job now, Charlie, with that runner on third. Collison has gotten a few pitches in the dirt. Ooh, good heater that time.
Big swing through that one. Becker looking to replicate that same sort of hit that he had last time around.
Gus Walker waiting on deck. There's one out. Runners on first and third. Sheboygan trails by one. It's a fly ball. Pretty deep center. Catch is made. Jurgensen running home. He'll make it standing. And Sheboygan has tied up the ball game on a sacrifice fly from Bennett. Becker. Walker up next. Be interesting to see if Tim Moyer tries to get Wilson in scoring position. Line drive foul. It's going to be out on New Jersey Avenue.
Walker walked in his last at-bat, ended up scoring off of the Zacharson single.
Gus attends Marion University. He's in communications, Charlie. That's your major, isn't it? Sort of? We're trying to communicate with all those fans out in internet land.
Hopefully doing well enough.
Yeah. Wilson taking a modest lead over at first. Pitch is just a bit inside.
1-2 count now on Walker.
It's getting a little bit easier to see the scoreboard.
A little bit, yeah.
Not a lot easier, just a little bit.
I mean, I still have one of the support beams for our roofing.
Fly ball out into center. Dropping. It's in for a base hit. And they can't locate the ball. And on the miscue, Walker heads into second base. What are we giving them? Base hit? Not a double.
Yeah.
Double for Walker. Kyle Flynn is up. Flynn is 1 for 3 in the ball game with an opportunity to give Sheboygan the lead. Be their first lead of the game.
Of course, if that could happen, it's a huge turn of events for Sheboygan. Down 5-1 at one point.
Ball is hit up in the air. Martin calling and makes the one-handed grab. But Sheboygan comes up with a run, and after 5 complete, we're all tied at 5.
Let me me tell you a story about a beer rooted in the heart of America, found in a community where a handshake is a sure contract, brewed for those who found opportunity in challenge and hope in tomorrow, raised by generations, willing to sip, share, risk, remember. This is a story bigger than beer. This is the story of the American spirit. Let me tell you a story about a beer rooted in the heart of America, found in a community where a handshake is a sure contract, brewed for those who found opportunity in challenge and hope in tomorrow, raised by generations, willing to sip,
Leading off the 6th inning for the Chicago Rippers will be their number 8 hitter, Joba Farrell. Farrell has one of the 2 Ripper home runs. He hit his in the 4th. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game.
Farrell really started off that big 4th inning for the Rippers. That home run, 2 outs before then, but that another 3 straight runs.
Hey, Bill, what's the count? Bill, what's the count? Okay, we think it's 1-1. We weren't sure what. There was an appeal down to the first base umpire, but I didn't see a signal from him.
Home plate just showing a 2-1 count.
2-1 is the count to Farrell. And Martinez's pitch goes outside. This is a dangerous pitch right here. You want to get a strike, but you don't want to lay one right in there that Farrell can jack out of the park. Joba. Bouncing ball to third. Harry scoops. And the throw across is dropped by Jurgensen.
Error being called on that one. That one on third or first? Error on Stelt on that one.
Boy.
Throw just a little bit too low. And Jimmy just not able to recover from that.
Be interesting to see what they do with their number 9 hitter, Mike Martin. No third base coach for Chicago so far. Martin did not square around to bunt that first pitch. Harry was up even with the bag. Oh, he takes a step or 2 back. Pitch was a strike.
A touch lower than that first pitch, able to clip the top of the zone. Martin walked and flew out so far in this game.
Oh, they had Farrell leaning, but he was able to get back. Farrell reached on the throwing error from Harry Stelt. And I'm sure if you talk to Jurgensen, he'd say, I should have scooped it anyway. Farrell on the move. Throw down. Not in time. Good throw by Caleb Lorbecki, but Farrell able to outrace the throw. Chicago has the lead run at second base with nobody out, and we're in the top of the 6th inning.
Top 6, of course, a big comeback in the past few innings from Sheboygan.
Sheboygan has left 9 runners on base, so that could come back to haunt them. They had some great opportunities, but were not able to cash in.
the past 3 innings, Sheboygan has actually left a runner on third base for each of them. So, just not being able to convert that very last step. And right now, Chicago scores that could come to haunt them, as you just said.
Martinez delivers the pitch. It's fouled off by Martin. 2-2 is the count. Martin 0 for 1. He walked and scored back in the fourth. Flew out to left in the second. Rick Brunige in the house. There's a swing and a miss. Good pitch by Michael Martinez. That brings up Andy Guyton. Guyton have a nice game, Charlie. He's 1 for 2, and he scored 2 runs. And had home run.
One of the 2 home runs on this game so far for Chicago. He's also had some decent plays out in center field.
Oh, I think he had the play of the game. That catch at the wall on Jimmy's long fly ball. Martinez trying to work out of a jam. He got the first out, but Farrell is on second base, and he can fly. He's a good runner. There's a drive out in the center. Walker, out in the right field. Zach Risen has it. And he makes the catch.
And the good throw, even out in right. Still manages to keep Farrell out at second.
I'm so used to having Brady make the catches. I was watching him as the ball was hitting. I think, hey, you get over and fill the gap and make the catch, but it was Brady coming over from right field to make it. 2 outs. Mike Bowling, the center fielder, is up. He's 1 for 2 with a run scored.
And if my scoring is right, then that's only the second outfield.
Oh, nice play by Martinez. Flips over to first in time. And the Rippers do not score in the 6th. He's coming up trying to take the lead.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support programs like Boys and Girls Clubs and Girls Who Code that show kids they can dream anything and do even more.
Carrier asks, what does comfort mean to you? We know it means more than just the temperature. And the people who invented modern air conditioning keep inventing new ways to make you comfortable. Carrier, turn to the experts.
For your heating and cooling needs, call Advanced Comfort Systems, Sheboygan's only Carrier Factory authorized dealer.
Cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio.
Carrier asks, what does comfort mean to you? We know it means more than just the temperature. And the people who invented modern air conditioning keep inventing new ways to make you comfortable. Carrier, turn to the experts.
For your heating and cooling needs, call Advanced Comfort Systems, Sheboygan's only Carrier Factory authorized dealer.
Cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio.
Enrique Melendez is now pitching for the Rippers. Benny Colasano went 5 innings, gave up 9 hits, 5 runs, all earned. He walked 3 and struck out 4. He will not get a decision in this ball game. Neither will Sheboygan's starter, Eric Zuberbier. Michael Martinez doing a great job to work out of that jam in the 6th. Let's see if Sheboygan can capitalize. They have Harry Stelt leading off the inning. Harry went to UW-Stevens Point. I believe this is his 12th year on the A's.
Leading off for the A's, third baseman number 19, Harry Stelt.
Good sign, Charlie. Harry's looking for his first base hit.
Yes.
Great time to get it right here.
One thing that interests me about Harry, of course, I'm still new to watching A's baseball. He swings through that one. No batting gloves.
Going old school.
Oh, no, nowadays I just don't see many people who don't do any batting gloves, but Harry's just bare hands right on the bat.
A lot of calluses. CJ was saying Harry's got his own landscaping business, and of course that means he's doing a lot of physical work and has a lot of calluses on his hands. Another good rip and good fastball by Melendez. Threw it right by Harry. Harry looked back at Steve Wall and says, "How did I miss that?" Well, don't miss this next one. A good pitch by Enrique Melendez just off the outside corner, but Harry, being the experienced hitter he is, wasn't biting.
Very experienced hitter, very good hitter as well.
Oh, you won't see that very often, Charlie. Strike 3. 1 out in the 6th. Brings up the Northwoods cleanup hitter, Brady Zachrisson.
As you said, Harry, not exactly, not a big strikeout guy. 21 strikeouts and 169 at-bats last year. Very solid rate. I don't know how to do that K rate in my head. I'm not that good at math.
Brady takes that pitch outside. He's got a 3 RBI game going. The biggest of those RBIs were in the 4th inning when he hit that base hit down the right field line. Drove in 2 runs. Pitch up a little bit. Melendez, the pitcher, wanted it.
Brady so far just having a very, very good year offensively. Foul ball nearly hitting our home plate umpire on the rebound.
You don't see that very often. We've seen it twice in this game where it bounces right back to him. Ball is driven out to center field. Bowling was fooled by it a little bit. Now he makes an adjustment and makes the catch. 2 quick outs in the 6th. That brings up Jacob Neese.
Neese, or if you ask his father, Neesy.
Yeah, Neesy. Kenny Neesy and Jacob Neese. I wonder what the missus calls herself. Pop up to the third baseman on the first pitch, and that's the end of the 6th inning. We're heading off to the 7th with the score still tied.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you don't just feed yourself or your family. You help support programs like Simply Give, that feed our neighbors in need.
Thank you.
Wingism number 1, the Flavor Saver. Legend Larry's, the definition of flavor. Wingism number 1, the Flavor Saver. Legend Larry's, the definition of flavor.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you don't just feed yourself or your family. You help support programs like Simply Give that feed our neighbors in need.
Thank you.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you don't just feed yourself or your family. You help support programs like Simply Give that feed our neighbors in need.
Thank you.
Brad Reinflisch is on to pitch the 7th inning for Sheboygan. Brad pitched on Wednesday. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits and 7 walks, but he did have 10 strikeouts. The one thing you'll notice about Brad is he does throw a lot of pitches, Charlie. He'll go a lot of deep counts, 3-2, 2-2, but he does record a lot of strikeouts, and I think we talked about a little bit. He led the team in strikeouts last year.
The team with 109 strikeouts. Next closest, I believe, being Jared Oclitis with 93. So Reinflesch, just a very, very good pitcher overall. 60 innings pitched last year, 7-5 record, 2 saves, and hoping to continue his last year performance with a good one this year.
I need a shutout inning right here. Brad's a good guy to have out there to do that.
First pitch inside for a ball on to Kuda.
Oh, we had a mighty cut and missed. Good fastball.
And you were saying earlier on in this game, Sheboygan very good at coming back, and this is something that we've definitely seen so far today.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. It looked pretty bleak for us when the Rippers scored 3 in the top of the 4th, but Sheboygan was able to come right back and pulled it within 1 and then tie it up in the bottom of the 4th. Make that the bottom of the 5th. Ball is hit up in the air. Becker retreating and catching. 1 out in the 7th.
See, it's still a little bit weird to see an outfield fly ball this game that isn't going to Gus Walker.
Right. I thought I did an outstanding job, Charlie, of tracking that fly ball, other than the one that went out to Zach Risen that I thought Walker was going to grab.
Becker had a beat in it the entire time, but Gus was still there just in case.
Tony Sanchez over 3 in the ball game, has a mighty cut, and he swings and misses.
Sanchez just very, very tough swings on each pitch. Just kind of tell just from how hard he swings at that. Now,
yeah.
We're definitely Sheboygan trying to get him to not make contact as much as possible.
1-1 pitch again is swung on and missed. After our last game, Charlie, I took the stats that we had on this sheet here, the top stats from the various players, and I figured out the strikeout rate, because that was something we had talked about last year. Brad has the most strikeouts, but does he have the best strikeout rate? Like most strikeouts per innings pitched, he had that too. So he was definitely in command in terms of being the strikeout leader. Had the most strikeouts and the best strikeout rate per inning. Breaking ball in there for call, strike 3. And Tony was frozen on that pitch. Tony Sanchez.
Honestly froze me up a little bit on that pitch as well.
That's why as an umpire you never want to call it too soon. Wait for everything to develop and then make your call. And that's very hard sometimes for an umpire to just wait. Clifford's in the house, CJ. Ludwig checks his swing for ball 1.
Oh, the peel to first actually says a strike.
Okay. That's the second time we've had that this season, Charlie, where left-handed batter and you peel down to first base and he called it a strike. They're not in a good position to make that call, but we'll take it.
Not much the umps can really do. We only have 2 umps on the field. Can't fully afford that.
I'll tell you who's got maybe the toughest job out there is Brady out in right field trying to battle the sun and be able to track any balls that Ludwig might hit out there. Count is 2-1. Ball is fouled back. We're in the top of the 7th. We're all tied up at 5. Sheboygan has come back from a 5-1 deficit to tie it up. Reinflish trying to give Sheboygan a chance with the score still tied as we enter the 7th.
Ludwig had the RBI back in the 1st, however has since been quiet.
Yeah, let's keep him that way. The pitch up high for ball 4. And Benji Rodriguez is up. Rodriguez was called out in the 1st and then flew out to center in the 4th and 5th innings. Benji, a good-looking player. He steps in the box, number 15.
So far, even if they haven't, actually met, you got to be very familiar with Gus Walker at this point. Two solid fly balls have been caught.
Ludwig taking a ill-advised lead. If Brad would have seen that, he could have picked him off. As it was, he just stepped off to drive Ludwig back.
Redfish looking over his back shoulder for checking the runner. Not something I don't think I see too often. Usually it seems like it's the front shoulder that they...
Brad is the head baseball coach at West Bend West High School, I believe. And here, at least last year, Harry Stelt was one of his assistant coaches.
CJ telling us that Harry's still coaching. Now, I believe I had overheard that was why he was gone for a play ball tournament, had to do some coaching.
It could have been, definitely. And Brad wasn't around either, so maybe that's why he couldn't make it. Tournaments for high school baseball start on Tuesday with regional play. Sheboygan North will be in West Bend playing West Bend East in their first game. And I'm not sure how good Craig Council's high school team is, but as long as they keep winning, he will not be showing up to our games because he has to finish his high school season before he comes to play with us.
Jack Council commit to University of Michigan. Would be great to have a D1 commit at least coming onto our A's team.
It'll be 2 years in a row. Jonathan Kim not playing this year due to injury, had the same situation. 3-0 is the count. There's 2 outs. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Greg Ludwig is causing Brad a lot of consternation with his antics over at first base, and it's working. Rodriguez sitting in the box. I believe it's 3-0. That pitch is low. That puts a runner in scoring position now with Ludwig out there. And that brings up Josh Mosley. Mosley's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts.
Had a very strong swing to strike out in his last at-bat. Knocked himself over with the swing. Now chatting with third base coach, and at this point Chicago likely scores a run, so
Mike Martin, he does everything out there, Charlie. He's a shortstop, third base coach, talks to the hitters when they get up there. I mean, he's a really valuable guy, that Mike Martin. At least one of them. There's a pitch in the strike zone. Good start for Brad. Harry's deep at third. Flynn is even deeper at short.
Infield overall fairly deep out there, not really looking to check Ludwig at second.
Good play by Lorbecki to backhand that outside pitch. Force at any base. Get a ground ball, pick it up, make a play. We do have 2 outs, and it's tie, 5-5. We don't want to let Chicago get the lead. Whoa. Knocked him down.
Mosley barely getting out of the way of that one.
Yeah, we got big confrontation, Charlie. 42 against 42.
Something you won't see in the majors unless it's Jackie Robinson Day, but out here, lower levels, we got Mosley and Brad out there.
Two 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball is high.
Chicago being very patient with 2 outs. Of course, they did all their damage in the 4th with 2 outs. So,
yeah, they got to do a couple of walks. 3 walks, actually, in that inning to set it up.
So for Sheboygan, hoping they don't get a repeat of that.
And another walk for Reinflesch. And that brings up the number 8 hitter, Joba Farrell. Martin coming in from his third base coach's box to get to the on-deck circle. Go ahead.
Looking at the stats from last year, Reinflesch, a little bit of difficulty with the walks, 55 walks in those 60 innings, but again, those 109
I think he had the best walk rate, too. Led in strikeout rate and walk rate. I bet he had did he have the most walks on the staff? Those guys I got listed here? No, don't worry about that.
The ones at front, yep, the most walks on there by decent margin. Blake Coon's the only one relatively close with 29 last year in 54 innings.
I can remember seeing Brad after one of the games he pitched, and I said, how come you got to throw so many pitches, you know? Come on, man. And he said, that's just the way I pitch. That's the way it is. He's going to have to work his way out of a jam here. Kenny Nazy came out and talked with Brad briefly. And a healthy cut by Farrell, but he comes up empty.
Farrell had that home run to start off the fourth. So, though other than that,
We don't want to mention that.
Error, but more importantly, flew out to
bad
Harry.
vibes. Bad vibes. Ludwig again dancing around at third now. Strike two. That was a true swing and a miss. Got Ludwig at third, Rodriguez at second, and Mosley at first. Farrell is up. Charlie mentioned he hit that home run in the fourth.
Now an 0-2 count, though, close to a strikeout. Brad able to work this count well.
Swing and a miss on a pitch up in the strike zone, but Farrell couldn't risk it, so he swung at it and missed, and Chicago fails to score in the seventh. Sheboygan hoping for a run to win it in the bottom half.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support organizations like Hope House Mission and New Hope Shelter that give people around here warmth, shelter, and care.
Wingism number 3, the Peter Heater.
Oh, so hot. Oh, so hot!
Legend Larry's, the definition of flavor. Wingism number 3, the Peter Heater.
Oh, so hot. Oh, so hot!
Legend Larry's, the definition of flavor.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support organizations like Hope House Mission and New Hope Shelter that give people around here.
Jimmy Jurgensen is going to lead off the seventh inning for Sheboygan. Jimmy is 1 for 3. His last at bat, he singled and wound up scoring a run for the A's. Hopefully he can hit a big fly, Charlie, and end this.
Hopefully. Scored the tying run, now looking to score the walk-off run is Jimmy. Jimmy, so far, 273 on the year, if I'm actually reading the right one. It's a little bit difficult to tell at times. No, actually, no, okay. I was reading Riley Palmquist's. Jimmy 167 before this game.
Enrique Melendez still on the hill for Chicago. Takes that pitch low.
2-0 count now.
Any way to get on? It'd be interesting to see what Tim Moyer would do if Jimmy walks. Check swing, and it goes right to Melendez, and he makes the easy catch. Tough break for Jimmy.
Jimmy
That's
definitely
bring
did not
up
want
Caleb
to.
Lorbecki.
Jimmy didn't want to swing at that one, but ends up just hitting the bat. Easy little tap to Melendez over at first.
Swinging a foul tick. Caleb walked, popped out to second, and struck out. He's 0 for 2. Pitch just inside. Mosley still not throwing the ball back. He wanted that pitch for a strike. Now he turns around and talks to the home plate umpire, Steve Walsh.
Mosley and Walsh not exactly agreeing on too much so far this game.
Line drive. Ground ball through the infield. Lorbecki, his first hit. Ball hit a little too hard for Martin to come over and make the play on. And that brings up Davis Wilson. Davis is 2 for 3. That was the 10th hit by Sheboygan. Who says they can't hit?
10 hits, number of walks, and only one extra base hit. Which was Gus Walker's double.
I think out of those 10, Charlie, we could probably take 3 of them and it wouldn't equal 90 feet. All those infield singles.
Lot of those choppers out there.
There's a drive out into left field. Guyton right there makes the catch. Sounded good.
Sounded good. It was a very strong hit, but just right over to Guyton out and left.
Caleb Lorbecki had no stolen bases. He was caught once. Be interesting to see if Tim Moyer tries to get him in scoring position for Bennett Becker.
Already
with
swinging
a
at
healthy
that one.
swing and a miss. There's a line drive down the line. It's going to be cut off. It'll not get to the wall. But having trouble picking it up is Guyton, and that allows the runners to go to second and third. Give Becker a base hit, and then have him advance to third on the E7. For a minute there, Charlie, I thought that Lorbecki might have to hold at second base. But as soon as the ball was fumbled, he kept going right to third base, and right behind him over at second is Becker.
A pitching change out here for Chicago.
We got a pitching change. We're trying to get a number on it.
Your number's a little bit off on our roster compared to what we actually have. Joba Farrell moving in from second base to pitch. And as you were saying about Lorbecki not being a stolen base threat, you might think that if we perhaps if there's a pinch runner, if you have someone who's real fast out there, that could have possibly scored, ended the game. So still have Lorbecki out on third, still have Becker out on second, and Gus Walker hoping to continue his streak of hits. Had a double in his last appearance. Any sort of on base will get the run in. We've seen pass balls so far in the day for Chicago. We've seen a few wild pitches. So a lot of options here for Sheboygan to take advantage. But still need to execute. Bottom of the 7th, our last inning here in the first game of our doubleheader.
Farrell looks like a pretty hard thrower, Charlie.
Pretty hard thrower, and perhaps a little bit more importantly for right now, didn't seem to have anything that was all too wild out there. So
Gus Walker is up. I tell you, again, it comes down to Walker continuing his break out of the slump. He did it last time. He doubled. Lone extra base hit for Sheboygan. A hit here, and Sheboygan is a winner in game 1. There's a line drive. out into deep left field, and diving attempt is not made. It drops in for a base hit, and the A's win it 6-5 on a base hit by Gus Walker with 2 outs in the 7th inning.
And that hit just so close to, well, pun fully intended, ripping the hearts out of the A's fans out here. But that dive not successful, and Lorbecky manages to get the winning run. Out here 6-5, Sheboygan wins on the walk-off.
Yeah, Enrique Melendez actually pitched pretty well. He's going to wind up getting the loss, giving up 1 earned run in his an inning and 2/3. Ludwig with a great attempt, but he was not able to catch up to it. For Sheboygan, they come up with 6 runs. I believe it was 12 hits. And he had 1 error. 11 LOBs, though. That's not good. For Chicago, they had 5 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. We'll be back for Game 2 of this weekend series in about 20 to 25 minutes. Last time, winner 6-5.